Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. I know Dan and his team of professionals back there will adjust that sound for us as we move along this evening. Could I ask you all, and thank you very much for attending this evening, to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you all. Unfortunately, our recording secretary can't join us this evening, so I will conduct item C, the roll call. Janelle Wilk. Leslie Crotty.
Here.
Ray Nardella. Eric Berthel.
Here.
Guy Mazzano. Here. Tom Lambert.
Here.
Josephine Cavalla-Rosa.
Here.
Jim Gambardella.
Here.
And Dawn Orsini. Andrew Terzigny.
Here.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item D, recognition, and we've got some important and terrific recognition to provide this evening. For that, I'll turn it over to Dr. McDowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This evening, we want to acknowledge Robotics Team 237, inspiration and recognition of science and technology. The Board of Education Administration would like to recognize the robotics team for the 2013-14 school year for all of their excellent work. I have some certificates. I would like to is Crystal Beers here? Crystal is is a coach of the robotics team and has just done an outstanding job with these kids. We want to convey our congratulations and thanks to you. And certainly, I'm certain that you have lots of help from some parents. And while we don't have awards for the parents, we have certainly our thanks for all of your dedication in ensuring that these kids have been able to do what they've accomplished. So, is Jack Clark here tonight? Okay, that's all right. It's busy. I hope he's playing baseball someplace. How about Rebecca Johnson? That's okay too. We're ready. Andrew Beers? Andrew, come on up. Congratulations, Andrew. Well done. Ensemble James. Chit. Congratulations. Well done.
Well done. Thank you.
Michael Cullen. Ethan Hoyt. Congratulations.
Well done.
Ryan Johnston. Duncan Relicki. He's not here. Justine Roy. Rachel Conway. Madison Lamlin.
It's good to see you again.
Kyle Brown. Anthony Clark. Nathan Lindberg. Trevor Coulter.
Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations.
Alex Seacard. Kyle Vergowen. Anybody whose name I did not call? Ms. Beers, would you like to say a few words about the team? Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. All right, great.
Hello. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the game this year, and then we're going to have a quick video of some of our more exciting matches. All right, so this year we were giving a relatively simple task. It was essentially that we had to score a ball into the goals opposite in the field, like you'll see in the video. You got more points if you pass the ball to other teams for assists, and even more could be added by shooting the ball over a truss, which is just a horizontal bar in the middle of the field. As always, the game started with an autonomous period in which we were only one of only a few teams to be able to score not one but two balls in the 15-second period, and after that, the drivers like myself took over for the remaining 2 minutes. In the competitions this year, our robot performed very well. In our first competition, we ended up getting all the way through the playoffs into the championship match. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties on our part and our other team, we ended up losing the final round and coming in second. But we did win the Innovation and Control Award, which we got for the use of our sonar, which we use as a sensor on the robot to tell the drivers when they're in range to shoot. And we also used it during autonomous to make sure it had a consistent shot that always scored. Then in our second competition, we also won an award. This time was the Quality Award for the robot's robustness, and basically its ability to take a beating and then still perform well in the matches after. We did do well enough to go to district championships this year, which are new because they went to a new district model. And in the district championships, we had a very good showing, but unfortunately we didn't make it to the playoff rounds, and we narrowly missed the world championship. We were actually the next robot to go to that. And overall, it was a very good season for us, and I want to thank you guys for your support.
Okay.
All right, now I think they have a quick video here.
I'm here to tell you guys about everything that FIRST has done for me. Due to my participation on Team 237 and Robotics, I have changed my goal in life from wanting to be an ultrasound technician to a biomedical engineer. Clearly, Robotics is a program designed to support STEM, but it has taught me so much more than just CAD and physics. Robotics has given me the people skills, problem solving, and confidence that I will need to become a successful adult. Because of the opportunities FIRST has provided for me, such as applying for scholarships that I wouldn't have been able to achieve without the program, and being able to communicate with college admissions officers on a more technical level. After high school, I hope to follow in the footsteps of my inspiring mentors and go to Western New England University for a degree in engineering. Without FIRST, I have no idea what my role at Watertown High would have been, but I am so grateful that I got hooked into this amazing program. Thank you guys for your support.
Thank you, Madison.
Welcome to the 2014 FIRST Robotics Competition. This year's game, Aerial Assist. Aerial Assist is played on an approximately 25 by 54-foot field. Alliances of 3 teams each operate their robots from behind alliance walls at the ends of the field. 2 large scoring goals are located at the top of each alliance wall above the driver stations. Smaller scoring goals are at the lower corners of the alliance wall. The center of the field is spanned by the truss, which is approximately 5 feet above the floor. Aerial Assist is played with 2-foot diameter exercise balls, colored red and blue to match the corresponding alliance. The objective of Aerial Assist is for teams on an alliance to work together to advance the ball down the field and score into their alliance goals at the far end of the field. A ball scored in a low goal earns 1 point. A ball scored in a high goal earns 10 points. The match begins. starting in the white zone or the goalie zone. Each robot can be preloaded with one game ball. The 10-second autonomous period starts the match. During this period, robots use pre-programmed instructions. Each ball scored during the autonomous period earns a 5-point bonus. Human drivers step forward to take the controls. As the teleoperated period starts, teams command their robots to score as quickly as possible. The scoring cycle starts as a human player transfers the ball onto the field. Robots can just take the ball and run directly to the other end of the field to earn the basic goal score. Alliances that use all three robots to assist the ball through all three zones will earn the most points. Throwing the ball over the truss on the way to the score will add a 10-point bonus. And having your alliance partner catch the toss will add another 10 points. Alliances try to score as many points as they can during the 2.5-minute match.
So that would give you an idea of what the game was about and what our robot was capable of this season. And again, Team 237 would like to thank you all for your support, the board and the town of Watertown. The time that the mentors put in really makes this program get going. So we appreciate you and our mentors to give our kids this gift. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Beers. Thank you, Team 237. Great job again. We look forward to seeing you, most of you, next year as well. Item 2 under recognition is a report on the March of Dimes and the school results that occurred this year through fundraising activities. However, those who are going to make that presentation were unable to be here this evening, so we'll move on to item E, report from our Student Council representative. But before, Andrew, I ask you for your report. We were talking earlier with a gentleman from North Carolina, and I believe in the South they use the phrase brag on. We're going to brag on Andrew a little bit before we get started this evening. Andrew was a recipient of several awards and scholarships last week at our awards night, scholarship night. I'm sure some of you were there to see him. But we wanted to just join in celebrating your accomplishment and congratulating you for the 2 scholarships that you were awarded, the Reinhold and Katie DeWitt Memorial Scholarship and the Swift Middle School PTSO Scholarship. Well done. Well deserved. And he's in even more rarefied company for this next award. Andrew is our most outstanding senior, Watertown High, class of 2014. That's an award given in recognition of a student's service, their achievement, their involvement in extracurricular activities, such as putting up with folks like us twice a month, his leadership and his attitude. That attitude is what I've just been so impressed with this year. He gives a great presentation. He's thorough. He covers every aspect of this school twice a month and brings us up to date on what's going on, all the good work that's happening here. But personally, I am so impressed with his maturity, his warmth, his kindness, and his dedication to doing good at this school and really in all aspects of his life. So, Andrew, on behalf of the entire board, it's my pleasure to give you a little parting gift with our thanks. With that, we're going to put you right back to work and ask for your report.
Thank you very much. All right. For the most part, all sports at WHS are over at this point. A few sports are still in championships, such as the track and field teams, who had 2 athletes, Chris Peltz and Megan Perrin, compete in state opens today. Megan also won her 3rd consecutive CIAC Class MM state championship in javelin this year. I actually have an update on state opens today. Megan won in javelin and she became the state open champion.
That's fantastic.
Today, students involved in the Unified Sports program attended the Naugatuck Valley Unified Sports Picnic. Also tonight, many student athletes attended an award ceremony honoring all league athletes. Tomorrow, several of our coaches will be going to the NVL end-of-season coaches picnic. Watertown has 3 coaches being honored at the event. Keith Borkowski for winning his 400th softball game, Gary Smith for winning his 200th win with the Watertown swim team, and Roberto Medic for his outstanding contributions to the NVL. Last week, the high school held its last SSP session of the year. During this session, students and their teachers took pictures demonstrating the DREAM motto and the students' contributions to the school. These photos are going into a larger photo mosaic to hopefully be revealed this Friday at a school-wide pep rally. Also last week, Watertown held its first successful live news broadcast. During homeroom, students got to watch as their fellow students reported the news of the high school live to them via the website Ustream. There will also be another broadcast tomorrow, and they will continue to the end of the year and into next year. Watertown High School held an awards night last Tuesday. Awards and local scholarships were given out to many juniors and seniors. Approximately $400,000 in scholarships were awarded to our Watertown High School students. Tomorrow night, the Medical Careers Program will hold a ceremony where their students will receive their CNA certifications. Finally tonight, seeing as it's my last meeting, I would like to say a couple thank yous. Thank you to Watertown High for allowing me to be the student representative. Thank you to the administration for supplying me with information to tell, because without them, I would just be up here blabbing about my life. And nobody wants to hear about that. It's pretty boring. And thank you to the members of the Board of Education, both past and present, for giving me this opportunity. It's been a great experience, and I've truly enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you.
Nice to have you, Andrew. Please don't be a stranger and come back in. With that, we'll move on to item F, our first round of public participation. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? Please, Janice, and could I ask as you approach the podium, please state your name and your address.
Good evening. I'm Janice Charanzelli from Charlotte Street, and I'm here to advocate for my students. Some of you know me. I might look familiar to others, but most of you don't know who I am. I'm Janice Charanzelli, the medical careers teacher at the high school. It is not my face I want you to associate with the medical careers program. It is these students who are sitting alongside me, who I want you to remember as the students who are not being allowed to pursue their dreams because of the decision to cut the program. The Medical Careers Program is the only program that affords students to graduate with a professional certificate to go into the real world if they are not college bound. If they are college bound, my students have the opportunity to use this as a stepping stone to further their career in the healthcare arena. I would like some of my current students to please come up, say your name, the college you're attending, and the major you're pursuing.
Mackenzie Tierman, Southern Connecticut State University, and for nursing.
Rachel Pavanel, Western University, nursing.
I'm Amber Gorman. I'm going to Southern Connecticut State University, and I'm also going for nursing.
I'm Nicole Rubo. I'm going to Mount St. Mary's for physical therapy.
I'm Rebecca Breavy. I'm going to University of Hartford for radiology. I'm Jessica Neal. I'm attending Quinnipiac University for physician assistant.
I'm Janina Raffles. I'm attending Pensacola Christian College, and I'm majoring in nursing.
Hi, I'm Sarah Solomowski. I'm going to Post University to study business accounting and sports management.
So you may have noticed only one tonight is not pursuing a career in healthcare. And it was this program that guided Sarah, as well as others, to their true passions and away from the very costly mistake of attending college. At $53,000 a year at a university, it's a lot of money to figure out in your junior year that you're pursuing the wrong career. These are the CNAs who are responsible for caring for the people in the greater Waterbury area as we attend clinical at Waterbury Hospital and Apple Rehab right here in Watertown. I am certain these students have cared for you, your family, or your friends at some point during the 40 years this program has been here at Watertown High School. This is not just a program, it is part of Watertown's history. These students have not only learned practical skills, but have learned life lessons and are exiting this program different people than when they entered. This year alone, these students assumed the role of coach for moms who were delivering their first child, have cared for, bathed, and monitored newborns who were just minutes old, and others caring for patients who were taking their last breath as they were delivering the highest quality, respectful care that is unimaginable for a 17-year-old student to be able to give. I am here tonight to ask you to not make a decision based on my relocating, but to make a decision based on the impact the decision is going to make on the students' lives, the community, and the school system. The students who are here in their uniforms get the chance to celebrate their passing their first ever professional certification exam tomorrow night at our pinning ceremony. This ceremony is a culmination of their journey into the medical profession. The pin, in my eyes, is a symbol of the transformation of young high school students to professionals. Please look into the faces of these future students who have already applied, have gone through a grueling interview process, and have been accepted into this very rigorous program. Understand they are not being given the opportunity to benefit from such a great experience and are being forced to delay their innate want to help the most fragile citizens of our community. They deserve more than being the product of the low-hanging fruit. I was going to close with a video that was aired on NBC in September that we marketed to the 8th graders for the incoming freshmen of 2014. Unfortunately, we're having some difficulties. So in closing, I would like to make myself available to discuss the budget with you. We do have options. I met with Dr. Carnamola and quickly discussed some options to save this program, and I would be happy to do the same with the Board of Education. Thank you for allowing me to advocate for my students and all future students at Watertown High School. But most of all, thank you for allowing me to keep the integrity of the healthcare profession.
Thank you, Janice. Does anyone else wish to address the board this evening? Kara, please.
Kara LaFlamme, Hamilton Avenue. I have two students. One graduated from Watertown High and was given the opportunity to go on to come back to Watertown High and teach. She wishes to be a teacher and teach at this school. My second is a junior. He's planned his schedule since freshman year to be able to take the Med Career Program. He has made sure that he has gotten all his courses in line so that he could have that block of time set aside for that. He plays a sport each season. He's involved in the play and the musical, so I understand that any cut made is going to affect him next year. He was accepted into the program and feels it will give him a good understanding of the medical field and if it is something that he does want to pursue as a career. He feels he wants to be an RN. This program will help let us know if that's where he should go to school for or not. We understand it's a difficult job to balance the need of all the students, but we just hope that you can find a way to keep the CNA program here find an alternative for these kids who have gone through the process to get their CNAs. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara. Does anyone else wish to address the board this evening? Yes, please.
I'm Hannah Karen from Shaw Farm Road.
Thank you.
Good evening. To start out tonight, I just wanted to thank you for your time and give me the opportunity to share a few of my thoughts with you. My name is Hannah Karen, as I just said, and I am one of the accepted students for next year's medical careers class that has now been denied. Ever since I can remember, I wanted to be a nurse. Seeing the dedication of my mother as a nurse and how she helps others in need has inspired me to be just like her. In 8th grade, I had the choice between Nanawaug, Cna, and of course, Watertown High School. The reason I chose to attend Watertown High was to prepare and enroll myself into the medical careers program. Now, as a junior, I've taken all the necessary steps to apply to this rigorous program. I have applied and gone through an overwhelming interviewing process, soon realizing getting chosen was all for nothing. I am here to ask you if you would please reconsider cutting this program for our town's budget. Not only is this class amazing for all aspiring a medical career, but it is also an outstanding opportunity for all of us coming out of the program and beginning to build our resumes for our futures. At 17 and 18, we will be leaving high school with the knowledge we need to start our lifelong careers in the different medical fields. I greatly appreciate having this opportunity to speak for myself, as well as my peers, and most importantly, the future students that come through Watertown High School. I hope you reconsider your decisions on cutting this program and focus on our dreams as well as the future of our communities. Again, I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Linda Noseworthy, 8 Ennis Road, Watertown. I grew up in town. I attended Watertown High School. I went through the Cna Program and graduated in 1978. And I'm a registered nurse. I've been working at Waterbury Hospital for nearly 30 years. I also work for a hospice company. And the Cna Program was a basis of my career. I love nursing. I'd never change anything in it for the world. When I saw that Linda Burmeister had put something on Facebook about losing the program, I was devastated. So I hope you will reconsider this. It is a basis for all these young girls. Many I know. They go to school with my daughter Jillian, who's also graduating high school. So I'm hoping that you girls, move on and make a career of nursing. I'm very proud of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carrie Noseworthy. I was a graduate here from Watertown in 2008, and I was also in the Cna program. After that, I went to school to study nursing. I just graduated from Western Connecticut State University with my Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and through school, I was employed at Apple Rehab in Watertown, and I've been currently working there for 5 years. So I really found it beneficial to me, and now that I have just graduated and will be taking my state boards in a couple weeks, that this was a program that should definitely stay and will really enhance the career of nursing.
It does. Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address the board? Yes, Mr. Mickert.
Good evening. My name is Stan Mickert, and I'm a teacher here at Watertown High School. Over the past 13 years, I have been a co-teacher in a biology class, and the connection there has been, in class, we try to excite young minds to get involved in science and the health professions, and there was always those students that said, but Mr. Mickert, I don't think I could do all the stuff that you'd need to be a nurse or doctor or anything like that. So I guess there's no hope. And then I found a great answer in the Cna program. And over the years, as sometimes to Mrs. Chia's chagrin, I have funneled many students to her, and she has molded them into the people they are today, successful people that have come back time and time again and said, I couldn't have done it without the idea that I could be successful, and I couldn't have done it without people like Mrs. Chia. That being said, we know that money is tight. And I remember having a conversation with former Superintendent Karen Baldwin, who told me, Stan, every time you cut a position, every time you cut a program, you'll be lucky if you can see that program come back in 7 years, if ever, right? And that's the real sadness here. We can't afford the program, and yet we can't afford not to have this program. And when you look at the balloon that says dream big, you hope it doesn't become dream deferred. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McRitt. Does anyone else wish to address the board? Yes, you want to go ahead? Please.
Hello, my name is Emily Cusick of Cannon Ridge Drive. Currently, I am going into my sophomore year at Sacred Heart University, and I'm also studying nursing. Nursing was never a second option for me. I grew up with my father, stepmother, aunt, and grandmother as all as nurses, and it was their inspiration that guided me into nursing. But once I entered this program, it was also Mrs. Ciaranzelli that inspired me to become a better person and also a better CNA. And to me, and also my fellow classmates that are here today, we believe that we are lucky to have a program in our school like this because not many schools do. Entering Sacred Heart University in the fall, I learned that not many students had the opportunity that I did, and it put me ahead in many ways in my anatomy class and just in many ways. There's many benefits to this program for our students. It helps to establish future career plans. As many have said, it's very expensive to make the mistake of going into the wrong major. Today I started my first day of my first CNA job, and I'm really happy to get the experience in the field that I wish to pursue for the rest of my life. I've learned a lot about myself, and this program brought a camaraderie amongst my peers and amongst the residents that we took care of in our clinical experience. Cutting this program would be detrimental and quite honestly a mistake because it's benefited so many of us today, and we're all here to advocate for it. It's something that can actually help students in the future, and it's one of the biggest reasons why I'm proud to be an alumni of Watertown High School. Even though I've been out of this high school for a year now, I still remember that the motto is to dream big and strive for the highest, and I hope that you all remember that this program emphasizes that motto. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mackenzie Tierman from Meadowcrest Lane. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am currently in the Medical Careers Program, and I just received my CNA license about 2 weeks ago. I am here today to stand up for the program that you plan to cut. This is the only program in this school that allows students after senior year to get a well-paying job, and this opportunity should not be taken away from the upcoming seniors here at Watertown High School. I had my opportunity to find success, and so should each and every student. This program does not just teach you the skills to be a CNA, but it teaches you life lessons, and it makes you aware of what to expect in the real world of healthcare. Many people think that all we do in this class is go to clinical and wash people, but we do so much more. We assist patients to our fullest ability and provide the best quality care possible. This care may help them physically, mentally, or emotionally. This program was helpful to me personally because it helped me become a professional and learn responsibility to an extent. Until I can last remember, I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. It wasn't until junior year that I found interest in healthcare after taking an Introduction to Medical Careers class. This class led me to take the Medical Careers Program senior year, and it is one of the best decisions I had made. I thought that being a radiology technician was interesting, but after taking this class, I learned my heart was in nursing. This class has saved me from making an expensive college decision, so please, as you make your decision about this program, do not think of the cost, but think of the opportunities it can provide for others.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm a little bit tall for this. Hi, I'm Hannah Colville. I'm from Pleasant View Avenue. Hi, my name's Hannah Colville, and I'm currently a junior at Watertown High School. I am a part of the varsity lacrosse and soccer teams. I also take part in Link Hero National Honor Society. Not too long ago, I was told I was accepted into the CNA program offered here at Watertown High School. Let me start by saying how fortunate I am to live in Watertown, Connecticut. I've had a pleasurable education here since kindergarten, and I'm looking forward to graduating next year. I respect the Board of Education, and I understand that the board has been given the harsh task of cutting $800,000 from the budget. That being said, I am astonished and saddened that the CNA program is being cut. Growing up, people often asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I would tell them I just want to help people. The older I got, the more interested I became in the medical field. I could take care of patients with various sicknesses and disabilities on a daily basis, just like I had always wanted to. Around 4 years ago, I had to decide which high school to attend. Knowing of the CNA program and wanting to pursue a medical career, I chose Watertown High School. Honestly, I never thought this program would be cut because it was used for educational purposes and is not an extracurricular activity. This program not only benefits the students who take it, but also gives back to our community. About 25 years ago, my aunt and a couple of family friends went through the CNA program. Most of them became nurses or physician assistants. After seeing the successes of the program, I was looking forward to experience it myself. It's not like a club or a school sport. It is a life choice that can make a huge impact on my future, my fellow classmates' futures, and the futures of generations to come. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amanda Ruff, and I live on Parkman Street.
Amanda, I'm sorry, just for our note taker this evening, could you say that slower? Your name and the street address?
Amanda Ruff, Parkman Street.
Parkman?
Yes.
Thank you.
As a senior in high school, I had the privilege of taking a CNA class that many people do not have the opportunity to take. Looking back on the course of the class, it is clear that it had a major impact on my outlook on others, people skills, and also how I feel about myself. When I applied to this course, I had no idea that this class would impact my life as much as it has. While practicing for my CNA, I worked with many patients at both Waterbury Hospital and at Apple Rehab. I encountered various cases with both acute and chronic illnesses. However, no matter the care I gave to these patients, it was my pleasure to increase the quality of life for someone else. After receiving my certification, the satisfaction for helping someone in need became even more rewarding. As a nurse's aide, I worked at Apple Rehab and am now a home care aide for a woman with Friedreich's ataxia. I developed relationships with each of my patients, and every time I leave work knowing I made a difference in someone's life. This is what continues to remind me why I've decided to enter the medical field. Being so young, I have been more than lucky to have been exposed to the type of experiences that I have encountered through the WHS Medical Careers Program. Receiving a CNA certification would not have been easy to work around my school schedule. However, because the class was part of my senior year credits and free of charge, it was something that fit perfectly into my schedule. Of course, Mrs. Sharonzelli was an outstanding teacher and gave me more knowledge than I could have ever asked for. But having any type of registered nurse by your side through this hands-on experience is extremely beneficial for anyone looking to become a nurse or other medical field profession. Generations are changing and more young teens reach their senior year without a clue of what they want to do with the rest of their lives. The WHS Medical Careers Program gives students a chance to experience the medical field and the responsibilities that come along with it. As a nursing student at Southern Connecticut State University, I am more than grateful to have had the opportunity to experience what the medical field was like. If I had not been given this chance, I could still be wondering if that is really what I'd like to do with my life. Without a doubt in my mind, the Medical Careers Program helped me to confirm my choice of fulfilling a degree in nursing, and I hope you continue to allow others to find that out as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Hello, my name is Janessa, Phillips Drive. Good evening, students, parents, teachers, and Board of Ed. I will start my speech now.
Okay.
Throughout my childhood, I have been taught that education is the essence of life. And because of that motive, it has brought me to where I am and who I am today. I'm currently a sophomore in Watertown High, and I transferred from Cna Tech. In my freshman year, Cna provided a wonderful program, just like the one in Watertown High. It was a competitive field, and only 20 freshmen out of the total were accepted. Luckily, with hard work, perseverance, and crossed fingers, I got in the program. Yes, I cannot lie that the field was inflexible, and I learned a lot from it. I'm proud to say that I do have experience in the Med Career Program. The reason why I decided to come to Watertown High, however, and leave the rare opportunity I had in Cna Tech was because I had hoped to be able to expand my knowledge and have a stronger education prior to the med career. I brought this ideal with me because there was a time when the Watertown High med career came into Cana and assisted our field by contributing different job opportunities. When I witnessed this, I knew I had to come to this school in a heartbeat because if they are able to help other schools, they are also able to help me endlessly. Not that I could say Watertown High has a better med program because I may never be able to have the chance to have a wonderful experience. If I knew that this field was going to be cut, then I may have never transferred in the first place. However, I am thankful for the rigorous classes that the school provides, and hopefully it will take me far in life. I have faith in the Board of Education because I know that they abide by the actions that reflect to their title, that no matter what, they will go to the extent of no measure in providing fair education within students. Prior to the fair student funding background, school budgeting should fund students fairly and adequately while preserving stability of all schools. The three major goals for the student fair funding are to improve student achievement, move toward equity, and make school budgets more transparent. It is noted that the fair student funding do not take away the funds, but if the do not take away the funds that would otherwise be reduced due to student improvement. Money may be the problem, but if the ones who don't have money are able to survive in this world, then I don't see why a lifelong knowledge can't. I believe that the seek for new instructions for the med careers will not be a problem. There will always be a vast of individuals who sought for this position regardless of the wage, because simply that is how hard life is. When I grow up and someday become a doctor, I desire to recognize and give thanks to the Watertown High Med Career Program for giving me the one-in-a-lifetime opportunity and the stepping stones into the med career. This school has taught me to never give up and endure obstacles. One of my teachers told my class that while us students are still provided with free education, to take the most out of it. That is why I'm standing here in front of all of you today, not to beg for mercy, but because I'm a student. And when the rights of a student regarding the right to education is being taken away from me, I am obligated to stand up for what I believe in. In my perspective, the reason why a major of students, including myself, have a passion toward medical field is that in regards to my experience while I studied in Cana, I learned that no one can teach you how to take care and comfort your patient. It is about learning how to love them when they're at their weakest points. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address the board this evening? Does anyone else wish to address the board this evening? There is a second round of public participation later in the meeting. For now, we'll close our first round. Move on to item G, committee reports. There'll be no report this evening from Curriculum and Instruction. Mr. Berthel, any report this evening from Policy and Labor?
No, sir.
Any report this evening, Mr. Berthel, from Budget and Finance?
No, sir.
Mr. Lambert, any report this evening from Facilities PBC?
No report at this time.
There'll be no report from Governance and Community Engagement this evening, nor will there be any communications reported by our secretary who is unable to attend this evening. With that, we'll move on to item I, the minutes of the regular meeting of the Watertown Board of Education of May 27th, 2014. Are there any corrections to those minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve those minutes as submitted?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve of the minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting of May 27th, 2014 as submitted.
Thank you for the motion, Mr. Berthel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you for the second, Mr. Lambert. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
One abstention, Ms. Crotty. With that, the motion passes. And with that, we'll move on to item J, the superintendent's recommendations and report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This evening you received information regarding several appointments that have to do with the 2 sessions for the extended school year program. This is information only to the board. We have several of the appointments, for, like I said, for Session 1 and Session 2. Information regarding 4 resignations. And unless there are any questions, I'm going to continue with a presentation from our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Donna Rochester, who's here this evening to present an overview of the Youth Services Bureau. A variety of supports and interventions are implemented daily in Watertown in the public schools to maintain a psychologically safe environment for both students and staff. Donna?
Okay, good evening to our board chair, Mr. Bizzano, your fellow board members, Dr. McDowell, my fellow administrators, teachers, and families in Watertown. Before we actually get into the overview of the Youth Service Bureau, I would like to share some good news with you tonight. On last Friday, I received notice that Judson Elementary School was selected to receive federal funding through Connecticut's State Personnel Development Grant. Judson is actually the third school in Watertown to receive this funding. John Trumbull was selected in Cohort 2, Polk was selected in Cohort 3, and now Judson will participate in the fourth cohort. This grant is designed to help schools establish and strengthen a multi-tiered system of academic and behavioral supports. At minimum, this is a 3-year process, and we are very excited that Judson is going to join in the work to enhance the system of supports to help our students achieve academically, to ensure a safe and healthy school climate, and to promote positive youth development, which actually brings me to the purpose of tonight's presentation. So many of you know that Watertown's Youth Service Bureau is actually in its second year of existence. However, you may not realize that the YSB, Youth Service Bureau Advisory Board, engaged in the process of selecting new leadership this year. To make a long story short, after 2 rounds of posting the position and conducting interviews, we decided that Megan Robinson was the right person for the job. And on behalf of the advisory board, after working with Megan since January of this year, I know we all feel that we made the right decision. So at this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to Megan so she can talk to you about the purpose of Watertown's Youth Service Bureau and the coordinated services and activities designed to prevent at-risk behaviors and to promote positive youth development in Watertown. Megan?
Hi, thank you. My name is Megan Robinson, and I'm the director of the Youth Service Bureau. I began at the end of January, so we kind of pushed forward very quickly to try and bring as many programs to the youth as we can. Okay, so some of the youth programs that we had this year are continued from last year. The Wellmore Counseling we've done since the beginning of this school year. They just continued that from last year. Watertown High School Academic Support and Credit Recovery, that was something new that we began in February at the high school, where on Wednesdays some of the freshmen would go in and meet with a certified teacher, and then the credit recovery is something that Mr. Mickert is doing with some of his students for civics. The COPS program is something at Swift. It's called Changing Our Perspectives Swiftly, and that came through Officer McDonald. Swift Homework Club was something that we began 6 weeks ago as kind of a pilot to see where we could take it next year when we had more funding and more time. This is the breakdown for the counseling. It's done at the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school. So we're able to reach many students through individual and group counseling. I've had reports back from every school that they really enjoyed the counselor that's at their school. So we're hoping to continue that for next year and maintain the same counselor so the students can maintain the relationships they have. This is the information about the credit recovery and academic support at the high school. There's about 25 students that partook in the credit recovery for civics. It's a half-year course that's required for graduation, and several students had difficulty passing the course. So this was an opportunity that we took in order to supply those students with the need. The freshman academic support is for select freshmen that were struggling through their transitions at the high school. They would meet once a week to receive just extra help in whatever subjects that they needed. The COPS program, this is very exciting. It's something that we started this year. We were able to get grant money through the consultation group. And then Officer McDonald actually applied for a much larger grant that he was actually just awarded for next year. So we're very excited that we're able to continue it. The main idea is for the youth and the police officers to work together and build relationships and understand one another. These are some pictures from a trip that we took to Camp Natasha. There was about 15 police officers that took part throughout the day and 20 students. They went through the low ropes courses and did different team building and trusting activities together. The Swift Homework Club, it's just about to wrap up next week. It was definitely just a pilot this year. We wanted to see how it was going to run. I'll mention later our future initiatives of what we would like to do with this is a much larger program, much larger scale. This was to just try and help the students right at the end of the year. The community development, last year we had our dinner with our speaker. This year we're doing a community field day with also the international potluck with Delta. So it was a great opportunity for both organizations to kind of come together and create one large picnic for the whole community. It's going to be on Saturday here at the high school, so I hope that everyone will attend. These are our initiatives for the future. So next year, our main focus is really going to be on a juvenile review board. We want to get one of those going here in Watertown so that we can help our students divert away from the juvenile court system. This can be anything from an arrest to, students who are chronically not attending school. So even something as people may think attendance isn't a big issue, it is, and it can turn into other things. So having a juvenile review board will really help us kind of break down some of those things. The other thing would be the transition support. That's kind of coming off of the academic support that we're currently doing for the freshmen. Next year, we would love to have a much larger program for 6th grade and 9th grade to help them transition to their new schools. Project Purple, Stand Up Against Substance Abuse. That's something that has to do with Chris Herron and his organization. We took a small group of people from Watertown to see the presentation at Pomperaug High School about a month ago, and it's something that we would like to bring here to our town, and we're going to start it off with a family fun run in September to promote his Project Purple and get the initiative in our town. So that's pretty much a wrap up of what we've done this year and kind of an idea of where we want to go next year. And this is just a list of all of our members on our advisory board. And we also do have a Twitter account, but I'm just learning how to use it. So I don't use it often, but it will be a great tool for us in the future. And that's it. Thank you so much.
So I want to give the board some background. While this list is going to be hard to read from where we are here, we've just passed this out, and I know the board hasn't seen this, but I want to give you some how we got to where we are. First, this is not done. I'm planning to bring forward a completed proposal at the next board meeting on June 23rd. And the reason we're doing that pretty much is because of item number 5, hockey. So I'm going to talk about how we came to where we are here, and then I'll entertain any questions. So at the last board meeting, the board gave the administration the responsibility of coming back with a recommendation regarding a fee structure to replace activities and athletics as a result of eliminating the pay to participate program. So I met with twice with not only Dr. Carnamola and Jill Brown, Jerry Perouse, Shirley Oliver, and Mary Lou Lurs. Now, if you remember, the idea for the student activity came from the $79,839 for middle school sports. So if you look at, these are the recommendations of the administration. A flat fee of $50 per student for all club activities with a family cap of $100. So you pay the $50, you have access to all the clubs. A flat fee of $125 per student per sport with a family cap of $250. The reinstitution of class dues at Watertown High School at $25 per student per year. The fee structure may be waived for students qualifying for free and reduced lunch students. And then hockey. On Tuesday, was it Tuesday, Dr. Carnamola? On Tuesday, Dr. Carnamola, Roberto Medic, and I met with a representative of the Booster Club for hockey. And we made a recommendation, not a recommendation. I pretty much told the gentleman that we wanted to get out of the ice time business. So we're going to have another meeting prior to the 23rd where we have an idea where we turn over the ice time to the Booster Club. They raise the money for the ice time, and whatever they don't raise, we divide by the parents in addition to the $125 for hockey. So what we took Appendix B of the teacher contract, where you see Swift Middle School stipended clubs, wherever there's a club, and that's the number, it's an arbitrary number because, of course, there's doubles here. I mean, kids do more than one thing. So you have the number of students and the club. At Watertown High School, the number of students and the club. The next page shows you the Swift Middle School activities. Swift Middle School athletics, the number of sports, the number of students enrolled, and then Watertown High School athletics, the sport, and the number of students. Again, those numbers, some of those kids play 3 sports. So the intention is for the board to make money. The intention is for the board to recoup the cost initially of the $79,839 that middle school sports is costing us. This is all part of the $850,000 cut. And as I said at the last board meeting, it's a big, the rest of it is a big if, depending upon the next referendum passing on June 24th. So if any board members have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them at this time. But again, we'll have a finalized list and a proposal for the June 23rd meeting.
Board members have any questions? Please, Leslie.
Could you please expand on number 3, class dues?
We used to have class dues at Watertown High School. We're trying to research. That's another part of the research. We're trying to, when they were eliminated. I don't want to talk about back in the day, but when I went to high school, there were class dues. And if you think about, there's an account for the class of 1964 just celebrated their 50th reunion. I guarantee they had class dues. That fund would be earning interest over 50 years to help them with reunions, to provide the gift to offset senior activities, proms. We're looking to recoup money to ensure not having further cuts to student activities. That's what we're talking about.
Thank you, Dr. McDowell.
Thank you.
With an introduction of...
Yes, I want to talk about exciting news in Watertown. This evening, earlier at a special board meeting, the board approved unanimously the appointment of a new high school principal effective July 1. Paul Jones is here this evening. Dr. Carnamola is going to talk a little bit about Paul.
So it's a bittersweet honor that I have tonight to be able to talk about the person who will replace me at the high school. As I said to the board earlier, it's bittersweet, of course, because I have to pass the torch to someone else, but it's also helpful because I may sleep tonight for the first time since I've been named the superintendent, because I've been worrying about who I would entrust Watertown High School to as I moved on. I'm very pleased that we were able to find a candidate like Paul Jones, who is currently the assistant principal at Newtown High School. That's where he will be coming to us from. And prior to that, he was an administrator in the High Point School District in North Carolina. Mr. Jones is also enrolled in a doctoral program here at Western Connecticut State University. And he is bringing to us a wealth of knowledge about schools, education, curriculum, and instruction, and also an enthusiasm and a passion for the job that just told us that he was the right candidate for Watertown High School. And I think actually the best way for me to introduce Mr. Jones to you might be to read to you the vision that he brought to me this evening for Watertown High School. As a part of the interview process, he thought it would be appropriate to share with us where he saw the school going, and this is the vision that Mr. Jones brought. Education is the means by which we grow and improve a community. Our students will leave us in a better place than when they arrived. We must work together, support each other, and realize that no one person is bigger than our school family. We will be dedicated and committed to ensuring that we succeed together in offering Watertown students the best high school in Connecticut. And I couldn't agree more. I think that Mr. Jones's beliefs and sentiments about how he will take over Watertown High School and take it to the next level after I depart are exactly what we need here at the high school, and I'm very pleased to be able to bring you Mr. Jones this evening.
Apologize, my leg I think had fallen asleep when I was sitting there, so I had to stutter a little bit. I'm Paul Jones, assistant principal at Newtown High School. It's a privilege and an honor to be named the principal of Watertown High School. Mr. Chairman, Board of Education, Dr. McDowell, Dr. Conamola, it is, as I just said, an outstanding honor to be standing before you today. I look forward to working with all of you, and most importantly, I look forward to working with all of you. And just sitting there and listening tonight as we go through budget and everything that is strenuous about this process at a high school, the one thing that stands out to me is that I have students who are willing to speak for themselves and have a mind of their own, and there's nothing better for a high school principal than to know that you have that coming in. So it's an honor and it's a privilege, and I look forward to working with all of you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. McDowell. Before I give my formal chairman's report, I think you can see why just about an hour and a half ago, this board not only unanimously but very enthusiastically approved the appointment of Paul this evening as the next superintendent. Maybe in a few years.
No, I'm taking
Sorry.
this job. That's
Sorry.
the next one.
Maybe in a few years. We'll get back to you on that. The appointment of Paul as our principal at Watertown High. Forgive me. And I think Dr. Carnamola said she'll be sleeping well tonight because she realizes what good hands this with Paul Jones. We were so impressed by not just his experience, his record of accomplishment, but, and you got a sense of this just now, his personality, his energy, his commitment to working not just with children, but everybody in this community, parents, teachers, government leaders in our town, to keep the great work that's been going on in this school going as long as he's here to work with us, and we look forward to that starting on July 1st. So, Paul, thank you for being here tonight. It's a pleasure to have you here, and we look forward to working with you. With that, we'll move on to item K, the report from the chairman. This year's budget process looks a lot like last year's budget process. Both began with first referendum losses. But there's an important difference. After last year's initial defeat, Watertown Town's Council cut our budget by $100,000. After this year's budget defeat, they cut our budget, and you heard it earlier, by $850,000. That's a difference that makes all the difference in the world. cut of $100,000 can often be managed largely through savings that can come from replacing retired teachers. A cut of $850,000 cannot. And in a district that has large, dare I say, massive classroom sizes, and is facing increases of over $1.8 million in healthcare claims, in special education, and in wages, an $850,000 cut can't be managed through further staffing reductions or reducing those new expenditures, which are unavoidable. No, beyond savings from retirements and resignations, a cut of this magnitude has to be made by addressing the costs of programs and activities that fall outside the basics of education. The essential, the required academic and developmental supports of our school system. In particular, they're made by addressing those programs and activities with high costs relative to the number of children they serve. That's certainly the case with the high school hockey program, where this year 6 students participate in a program that costs almost $40,000. But I'm relieved and I'm delighted to report that our coaches and our parents in this program recognize both hockey's value and its costs. And working in partnership with our administration, they're working on an approach that will keep our hockey program going. That's the idea behind the student activity fee that Dr. McDowell talked about earlier. There are countless benefits to the extracurricular and athletic programs that we offer in this school system, but there's costs to them as well. Costs that exceed what our operating budget can cover. The new fee structure that Dr. McDowell and his staff are proposing will preserve those programs, allowing those who benefit directly from them to help sustain them. It would be wonderful. It would be incredible if we could sustain the CNA program that we talked about earlier. It has special meaning for me. My wife took it in, well, I won't say when, from Pidge Bizzuto. And I heard in your stories tonight what she experienced, a confirmation that that was to be her life's work. The CNA program is the last vocational program we offer at this high school. Maybe you folks don't know it, but there used to be a culinary program here. Facility's still here. The program's gone, lost to previous referendum failures. So as of now, as a result of the failed referendum in May and the subsequent $850,000 budget cut, we simply don't have the money for it. This administration will do its best to find a way to offer a program like this in the future. But as of now, it's a program that impedes our ability to offer required courses and developmental supports our children need for academic success. Why did Town Council cut our budget far more than it did last year? One council member said that the town had given a, quote, mandate, unquote, to do so after the budget failed by nearly 500 votes. I can see how she drew that conclusion. The school budget received only 1,555 yes votes. But there's over 3,500 parents in this school district. Council concluded that our own parents couldn't support the costs of operating the programs and courses we do today. So they took the action they did. I take responsibility for that. I don't feel I effectively communicated to our parents and our community as a whole just how precarious things have gotten, how fragile and how vulnerable our core programs, our electives, and our extracurricular activities have become. If I'd communicated that effectively, would over 2,000 of our parents have stayed away from the polls? I apologize for that. We're not warning our parents and our community of what's at stake if a budget's defeated. I will not do that again. We do not know how much council will cut our budget if the school budget is defeated at the next referendum on Tuesday, June 24th. But I would expect at least a cut of $100,000, maybe $150,000, bringing the total reduction to our operating budget to $1 million in 1 year alone. If that happens, our superintendent has indicated, as he did earlier, that Swift Sports, the entire program, would be proposed for elimination. That would cover about $80,000 of that next round of cuts. I ask tonight that we not let that happen. I ask that we take the knife out of council's hands and pass the next budget. We have enough votes to do it if both the moms and the dads of our school children vote yes. After reviewing the list of those who voted last time, it was clear that all too often only one parent from a household made it to the polls. I'm sorry, that's the honest truth. And you know what? Next time, that won't be enough to save Swift's middle school sports. And I don't know what else. We don't have to lose another program. Because of revaluation, now 76% of property owners will see their taxes on their home and land actually go down if the next budget passes at referendum. Let's pass this budget. Let's declare that our children are worth the programs offered in our schools, and allow no one else to take away another dollar of funding for their education. I hope you'll join me in voting yes on Tuesday, June 24th. Also tonight, we're honored and we're deeply grateful to accept two extremely generous donations from the Watertown Foundation. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the work of that outstanding organization that has been making a difference in Watertown for nearly 90 years. Tonight, the board will have the opportunity to formally approve the receipt of two grants from the Watertown Foundation. A $2,500 grant to this high school for the purchase of a timpani for the marching band, and a $1,000 grant to the school for the purchase of baseball uniforms. These grants say so much about the Watertown Foundation. Many of us have our favorite causes. The Foundation's favorite cause is Watertown. If it has to do with making Watertown a stronger and better community, you'll find this foundation at work supporting it. The Foundation awards grants to improve our town's educational institutions, our athletic programs, our cultural offerings, the health and well-being of our citizens, our faith institutions, and our service organizations. Every year, the Foundation makes it possible for this town's high school graduates to attend the college of their choice by awarding thousands of dollars in scholarships. In its last report, the Foundation awarded $27,500 in scholarships to 18 students graduating from this high school, from Nonawag, and from Holy Cross. Its grants to our community exceeded $74,000 and included grants to the Watertown Youth Service Bureau, that we heard about this evening, and also to the high school first robotic team, neither of which could be recognized for their achievements tonight without that support. In total, since its inception, the Watertown Foundation has awarded over $1 million in grants and scholarships to this community. Their president, Paul Jessel, has often described the foundation as the best-kept secret in town. Tonight, we'd like to help put an end to that secrecy. Tonight, we want to highlight the great work of the Watertown Foundation. And on behalf of the Watertown Board of Education, we thank them, not only for the gifts we're receiving tonight, but for its long-time support of the children of the Watertown School District and indeed for our entire community. Thank you. That concludes my report for this evening. We'll move on to item L, action items, adoption of items to be approved by consent. Item 1, consideration of the approval of acceptance of gifts. Is there a motion on the first gift?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we gratefully accept a grant from the Watertown Foundation in the amount of $2,500 to Watertown High School for the purchase of a Yamaha timpani for the marching band.
Thanks for the motion, Mr. Berthel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert, for the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? It passes. Is there a motion on the second gift?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we gratefully accept a grant from the Watertown Foundation in the amount of $1,000 to Watertown High School for the purchase of baseball uniforms.
Thank you for the motion, Mr. Berthel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you for the second, Mr. Lambert. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes as well. It's recommended that the board approve of these donations and that letters of thanks be sent to this donor, this very generous donor. With that, we'll move on to item M, future agenda items and board members' comments. Do board members have any comments they'd wish to make at this time or agenda items they'd like to propose? All right. If not, we'll move on to item N, our second round of public participation. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board this evening? Please.
Christopher Peltz from Falls Avenue.
Hi, Christopher.
Good evening. I would like to share how this program has already changed my life. I am currently in the Introduction to Medical Careers class. As a junior, this class has not only made me choose my future career wanting to be a physical therapist, but it has motivated me to enlist in the United States Army National Guard. As Ms. Tranzilli said, this program brings students to not only help the people of the community, but to move forward and give care to the entire state and our nation as a whole. The students in this class don't think about a big check. We think about the people and how we can give our lives to care for others. This one class has been motivating students as young as 17 to be doing this every year. For the Board of Education to cut this program would not only have an impact on this school, but for the state and the rest of the country as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board? Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board? If not, we'll close our second round of public participation and ask for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Thank you for the motion, Mr. Berthel. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned at, can't read that clock, 8:47?
48.
8:48. Thank you all.
Collecting these?